April this month, I'm going to share by popular request and also because it's one of the most epic, wonderful tunes that I know, a really fabulous jig. Super famous. It's called Lisnagun. It's by the wonderful musician and pipe maker Brandon Ring. And some of the most epic moments I have ever experienced on stage and also in jam session come with this tune. So we got to do it. Sounds like this. Smiling. I always can't help but smile when I play and hear that tune. And if you're ready to learn it, grab your instrument. Let's dive right in. All right, so you can probably hear if you're listening with your I'm about to learn this ears, this is a really quick tune to learn. It's a very simple melody. I think that's part of what lends it. That epicness is it's just so familiar and friendly, even if you've never heard it before. All right, so we're going to learn it pretty quickly here. It's actually great practice because we're approaching fiddle camp season here when we all are going to be learning lots of tunes very quickly, sometimes on the fly in jam sessions. So great practice for that grab it quickly by ear. And then we're going to look at some of the things we can do to help enhance and indeed intensify the epicness of this tune. All right. So I play this in D major. This tune is, because it's so friendly, it's really easy to transpose. So we hear it in C, in G, in A. Very, very easy to transpose. But I love it in D, so that's where I'm going to show it to you guys. So yes, D major, 2 sharps, F sharps, and C sharps. Let's dive right in. I'm going to play the A section slowly, and I bet you because this is such a friendly melody, you are going to start to pick up little bits of it even before we break it down. See how much you can figure out playing along with me. Ready? D major. I have no pickups. 2, 3, and... Part 1. Part 2. Back to part 1. Ending. Yeah, it's that simple. Were you already picking it up? Challenge yourself for a second. If you want to, you can just go ahead and rewind this video. Don't listen to what I'm about to say as I break things down and show how this really goes. Just repeat that A section with me over and over and over. Rewind, 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 and see if you can pick up the whole thing without another word from me. Yeah. Okay, so if you don't want to do that, or if you tried that and you got it as far as you could, let's now break it down. And you can kind of check yourself, see where you were missing little things and fill in any blanks that are left. Okay, so this part 1. Great. Now, the thing that's happening here is this is a pentatonic scale, right? Okay, this is a D major pentatonic scale. Now, it does, rather than starting on the root, having the root being the bottom and then it builds, the root is kind of the middle. So there's my D. So if I go pentatonic above, 1, 2, 3, 5, I skip over the 4th note of the scale. Find that for a second. Pentatonic above the root. 1, 2, 3, 5. Good. And then below the root, we're skipping over the 7th degree of the scale. So 1, 6, 5, 6, 1. Find that bottom. Good, do the top. And the bottom. Great. And that's a really great way to think of a pentatonic scale, is grouping the notes that are above the root and then below the root, because a lot of pentatonics work like this. So that first part is the bottom pentatonic, the bottom half, and the top half. That's nice. Do it again. Part 1. Bottom half, top half. One more time, part 1. Great. Part 2, top half. And it cascades through to the bottom, right? Cascade. So we've used this term in past Tune of the Months. I call it cascading. When they're like, it can happen with groups of 3 or groups of 4. Groups of 3, ya-da-dum, and then it goes back to the middle one, ya-da-dum, da-da-dum. So it's taking groups of 3, but stepping down one note of each group. Does that make sense? That's all that part 2 is doing. Let's try it. Go up the top half, cascade down. Good, one more time, pentatonic cascade. Very good, and guess what? We're back to part 1. Bottom half of the pentatonic, top half. Good, you already know that part. Now here's the ending. It's going to start just like part 2. And just catch a little neighbor tone to finish there. Neighbor tone. Good, do the ending. One more time. There you go. So that was a pretty quick run through each part, but you can see they're actually pretty simple. Maybe you don't need a whole lot more. Of course, any part that it does help you to do more repetitions, feel free to pause the video and practice by yourself, or rewind it and practice with me. I love practicing with you. As many times as you want to do any of these parts, I'm in. I'm with you. All right, so let's pretend that you've done any of that you need to do, and we're going to do 2 whole A's. Ready? 2, 3, and part 2. Back to part 1, bottom half, top half, ending. Neighbor tone, repeat, bottom, top, part 2. Bottom, top half, ending. Very good. That's the whole A section. Ha! Goes by so quickly, doesn't? Don't you love tunes that you can just like reach out and grab them? And if it feels like you're working hard to grab this tune, you might be new to learning by ear or maybe new to this style of pentatonic tunes. No problem. This is the first of many. Each one you do gets quicker and easier, so stick right with it. Okay, if you want to practice the A section, repeat, rewind, repeat. Maybe that's the order to do it in, and get that A feeling really good. Here I go, B section. I'm going to play the whole thing. Listen for familiarities. I have 2 pickups. 2, 3, and... Okay, hopefully you heard some familiar stuff in there. Wink, wink, nudge, nudge. Okay. Well, the part 1, it is part 1, part 2, part 1 again ending. The part 1 is the only really new thing here. And it's not even that new. It's the pentatonic top half, but descending and ascending rather than A and D. All right, here I go. 2 pickups go up to my high A, down that top half of the pentatonic. That's it. Give it a try. 2 pickups. Ready? And 1. Nice. Try it again. Ready? Go. And 1. One more time. Ready? And 1. Good. Pause. Repeat whatever you need to. Part 2 is the same as the A section. It's a cloud part 2, I call it. Same as the A section. Familiar? Do it again. Very good. And we're right back to part 1 of the B section. Go up high. Nothing changed there. And guess what? The ending is the same as the A section. Yeah, do that ending again just to review. All right, and that is with a very small asterisk, that is your entire B section. Part 1, the descending high pentatonic. Part 2, we already know. Part 1 again, ending. Do just that much. This is the first part, the first repeat of the B section. Ready, and high up. Part 2, you know. Back up. Part 2, ending. Very, very, very good. That's it. Now we're going to repeat the B section and check it out what's going to happen on this repeat. Part 1, part 2. Instead of going back to part 1 again, we're going to do what I call a half A tag. Very common move in the style of fiddle tunes. Instead of doing part 1 ending of the B section, we're going to go back and call back, do a part 1 and ending from the A section. Here we go. This is the repeat of the B. And part 1. Part 2 you already know. Now call back to the A section. Ending. There you go, and that's the second B. So you just have to remember about the half A tag. It's all material you already know. You just have to remember to use it. So let's now play 2 Bs. I'll call it out, but think ahead on the road map yourself. That will really help. Ready? First B is normal. Part 1. Ready, and part 2. Back to part 1 B section. Ending. Here's our repeat. Part 1. Part 2. Now heads up. Here it comes, A section. There you go. That's the half A tag. That's my name of it. We're taking the second half of the A section and we're tagging it into the second repeat of our B section. Lots of tunes do this that are very common. MacArthur Road does this. Brenda Stubberts does this. The first part of the high drive. Whole bunch of tunes. Whole bunch of tunes do this. So it's a great form to kind of get in your ears and your brain, because then when it shows up, you're like, oh, I get it, as opposed to being like, wait, where are we in the A section? Am I confused? No, you're not. You're right. Trust yourself. Okay, that's the whole tune. Now, before we put it all together, let's do some of these tiny little nudges that I was doing when I played it at the beginning of the video that help increase the epicness of the tune. It gives it a little more variety, and it gives you some tricks to start playing with here and other places too. Okay, so the first trick is whenever I have these long notes, right? They're dotted quarters. Big little swing are my jig words. Swing is a dotted quarter note, right? Anytime I have that long a note, I have some options of things I could do, right? I could put an ornament, even a big one like a roll. The best sounding rolls I've ever played, but you get the idea, right? I could ornament it. Certainly could. Now, what I like to do is to give it some variation through the rhythm. And it's a combination of rhythm and bowing. I'm going to speak like a bowed string player because obviously that's who I am. But if you're playing another instrument, if you're a blowing person or a squeezing person or a strumming person, you can steal the sound, even though you don't necessarily have down bow and up bow slurs. It's the sound we're after. What I like to do is to take that dotted quarter. There's two operations. I'm going to take that dotted quarter note, and instead of just doing a dotted quarter, I'm going to split it into a repeated note, quarter and eighth note. You hear that? Quarter, eighth. That's the rhythm. Now, when I bow it like that, it kind of sounds lame, doesn't it? I was doing a hooked bow. Up, up. Right? So that's lame. I'm not going to play it that way. The reason I'm splitting it up is because I'm going to use that eighth note as a pickup into the next group. And I'm going to do it as what I call a leaning pickup. I'm going to actually slur it down bow across the bar line. Check it out like this. Big little swing. Pick up. Pick up. Do you feel how different that is? That leaning pickup. All right, so let's give it a try for a second. Play the beginning. Repeat that note, slur down bow. Same thing here, repeat it, slur down. Good. Here it comes again. Down. And down. I can do it here. Down, 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 down. Do you feel how much propulsion and energy that gives? And that's actually what I was doing when I performed the tune at the front of this video, right? When I do it up to tempo. You feel it? Right? It's like the sound of sliding into home plate. Baseball metaphor. Yeah, I do know some sports. And that's that sound of having a leaning pickup, a slurred down bow pickup across the bar line. Fabulous sound, fabulous feel. It feels so epic. All right, so let's take that same idea. And notice what we're doing here. The tune itself doesn't have a pickup in there. It just has one long note. I'm creating the pickup by splitting that long note into a quarter and an eighth rather than just a dotted quarter. Does that make sense? If I don't have a pickup that I can turn into a leaning, well, I go out and make one. I can do that. I'm a folk musician. These are the rules, or the lack of rules. Let's try it the same thing with the B section. See if you can figure it out on the fly with me. Ready? Slowly. 3 and 4 and right here. Nice. Do you feel how much that adds? Now, here's the thing. You don't have to do that every long note, right? When I performed it up front, I did my leaning pickup on some of them, but not all. I can mix it up, right? You hear how it really changes it when I alternate. It's very, very subtle. But because the rhythm in this tune is so simple, every single time tiny little time that you push on it by adding in that pickup, the effect is amplified because there's no other gesture like that. So this is the key to messing around with a tune like this, that's so simple. You don't have to do a lot. One tiny little lean, one tiny little gesture makes such a difference. All right, so take that first trick and put it in your pocket of using the leaning pickups, maneuvering the rhythm so you get that variety. All right, next little trick. I use this in the B section personally. I have a favorite place that I do it in this tune, but it can work a lot of places. When you have a tune with such a condensed melodic range like this, right? The lowest note is here. It doesn't go outside of that, okay? What you can do is if you make a variation, if you find an excuse to go even one note higher or one note lower than what the tune does. When the range is so small anyway, one tiny little thing makes it feel like we've raised the ceiling or lowered the floor by a whole bunch. I call this trick popping the register. I take the register of the tune and I just pop up a tiny bit. And there's a great place to do this in the B section. So, on that part one, rather than just going straight down and making this high A the top of the universe, I like to go yeah. So notice, there's my high A, I go up to the high B, and it's like, whoa, the ceiling's so high. And then from there, I just follow the rest of the pentatonic pattern. Try that. And notice I'm doing a leaning situation there too. String players, I'm slowing down, bow down. Because it kind of it heightens the push up into the higher register when I also have that bowing creating some push. That's just an extra bonus. So where I like to do that is on the repeat back to the B section. Does that make sense? I don't do it the first time because then it's not special. I let everybody think, listening, that this high A is the top of the universe. And then on the repeat, when I put in the B, everybody's like, whoa, let's try it. 2 Bs. Go ahead and add that leaning pickup in the bowing that we did a second ago if you like. 2, 3, 2 Bs. Normal. Keep it normal. Here's my ending. Okay, let's try it. Right. There you go. Half A tag. You notice how effective that is on the second time? It's only one step higher, but because the ceiling has moved, everything feels different. So if you want to try that, go ahead and rewind the video, do those 2 Bs a couple of times with me. Great trick to have in your pocket. I'll show you one more, and then we're going to do the whole tune. This one I didn't do in my initial performance, but I love to do it if I'm doing this more than 2 times through. When I go back from the B section to the A section for the last time, I create extra momentum. I change the ending. Check it out. Here's my half A tag. Check it out. Right? So I take this and I make myself like a stuck record. And the very last group, I get out of it. And so what this does, when I keep that big little, big little, big little going, it makes us go, whoa, excitement, 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 and A section. And suddenly the A section feels way more epic than it would normally because I'm taking such a running start into it. So let's try from the half A tag. Let's do this with me. Ready? And half A tag. Now stuck record. 2, 3, down the. And I have to get back down. I have to target landing on that beginning of the A section. So I do 3 times stuck record. 1, 2, 3, down the. See how I connect that? One more time, stuck record. 1, 2, 3, get back to A. Right? Good. Let's try it from the last B. We're going to repeat into the A with that epic thing, and then we'll play through the whole tune. You can use any of these tricks that you like, wherever you like, or not. Your choice. You may or may not match my choices, and that's totally fine. Welcome to folk music. All right, so here we go. We'll play 2 Bs. It's easier. Ready? And normal B. Here's the ending. Okay, if you like, pop the register. Half A tag. Here we go. Stuck record. 1, 2, 3. Back to the A. Try those leading pickups. B section. If you want, pop the register. Let's finish. And that's the whole tune. All right. Nice job, you guys. So a couple subtle but really effective things you can do to make this tune come to life. It's a wonderful quick learn and just one of the most joyful tunes I think I've ever played. So it's a great one for jamming. It's the great one for closing a set of big jigs if you just want a gigantic burst of warm, bubbly joy at the end. Could not recommend this more highly. All right, so hopefully that's fun. You've got some tricks to play with on this and other jigs. And as always, if you would like to see sheet music for this and any other future tunes of the month, make sure you're subscribed to my email newsletter. You can go to my website, www.mariblack.com, and sign up for the newsletter. I send out an email about once a month, and as a little hello to the folks who stay in touch regularly, I send out sheet music, my own handwritten chicken scratch, of the current tune of the month. So if you're already subscribed, Lisnagun is already in your inbox, and you are playing away, hopefully as happily as a clam. And if you're watching this in the future, you can subscribe and get future tunes of the month also coming to your inbox. And if you missed my email, you're too far in the future, you missed my email that had Lisnagun in it, you can go find this on the rest of the internet. It's on thesession.org. I believe it's on the Traditional Tune Archive, and many of the other really awesome online tune resources that exist all around. So there you go. Hope this is fun. I'll look forward to seeing you back here next month for more tunes. Bye.